We're lucky we got out of Martinsville last weekend without committing a murder or felony of some kind. Not being in jail right now, getting ready for Rockingham, is just as good as a win. It was just so frustrating. It was really difficult to pass with our equally matched car set. And that was not just us, it was the AI. It was tough sledding. We started in the back, finished in the back, never really even saw the leaders. Maybe once or twice in our rearview mirror. But it's something to look at. Maybe try to find a different Martinsville, something, I don't know. Rosie the Riveter did get her second win of the season there. That doesn't really help her though in the points race. She's toast. Stay Puff still in the lead, but he's starting near the back here after finishing 5th at Martinsville. We'll keep an eye on that. Starting this race, I've begun to put dashes in the standings during the race, so the top 10 drivers, the important drivers, I can find them easily in the standings and call out their positions. You see Lily and Andy Van Slyke are tied there in 11th and 12th for the pervert seat. Just out there. We call it the pervert seat because you're just on the outside looking in of the top 10. We're 56 points back. We're starting P6 here. But let's keep an eye on Randy Marsh. He's made this huge jump recently, and he's right on DB Cooper. DB Cooper was the beast there for a while, and Randy Marsh is right with him. So we'll keep an eye on what Randy Marsh does this race, but also Mona Lisa Video. All the top 10 drivers, we'll keep an eye on them. But let's head up Rockingham here. All right, the Heinz Packet Championship race. 6 races to go. We're here at Rockingham for the Great Value 400. Like I said, we're starting P6. Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China and the artist Andy Warhol are on the front row. Amelia Earhart and Rosie the Riveter in the back row after finishing 1-2 at Martinsville. But okay, we'll talk about Amelia Earhart here in a second, because we need to get to the bottom ASAP. Any time we spend on the high line, the more we waste our tires, and you cannot spend your tires here. And you cannot just get hung out on the outside either, because you'll get pushed to the back. That's what happened to Amelia Earhart in the first Rockingham race. She started on the pole. We started near the back. And I think like 35, 40 laps in, we came up to her, or she fell back to us. I was like, what the hell's going on? And then looking at the replay, she was just hung out to dry like your mom's underwear after a Rod Stewart concert. So we're on the inside though. We're fine. My name's Adam, by the way. Thanks for checking out the video. Like I said, 6 races to go in our season. We have Talladega, Kansas, Texas, North Wilkesboro, and 1980s Atlanta after this race, and that closes out our season. It's been a hell of a lot of fun. Points race is really shaping up to be something wild, as I hoped it would. And it's just this whole season has been an experiment on would this point system work with all the evenly matched cars? Would flipping the grid work? And I'm guessing it does. On paper it should, because basically my main fear coming into this point system was us starting near the back of the pack and just making big gains that the AI cars couldn't make, no matter what. But they obviously can make gains from the back of the pack that we've seen, so that's not a big fear of mine. What affects our points total this season has been 5 DNFs, But at the same time, you can't play hypotheticals like that, because you can say, oh, 5 DNFs, just let's average out, worst comes to worst, 15 points out of those. We'd have 75 more points. That logic would make sense in any other season. But in this season where we flip the grid every race, it would just be a domino effect. Every time we would not get a DNF, we would start at the back at that next race and not be getting the same points that we got in that race in the alternate universe, you know? So, Ray Finkel's slow here. I do appreciate him taking out Stay Puffed at Bristol, but we got to get around him and kind of settle in, and we're just in tire conservation mode now. This early in the run, yes. Because if there's one thing I've learned in my years of NR2003 is, and in my years of dialing in these AI difficulties, is if you're say we were running mid-pack right now, the field would be scrunched up and we would be kind of just going through the motions, not spending the tires like we are right now when we have open plains to roam, and we're not being, you know, we're not being metered essentially by the AI. It can definitely, I've seen it happen at some other tracks, and Rockingham tire wear is magnified. It's more pronounced than any other track, so we just got to take her easy. Not trying to get out into the lead right now. We are going to try to win this thing, don't worry about it, but that is not the name of the game currently. Steve Jobs, yep, Randy Marsh is already making a move up. I didn't really call out their starting positions, but you could, you saw them in the grid. Homer Simpson's coming up. Steve Jobs, I think, started in 11th, and he's just sitting there in 11th now, but Randy Marsh is the car to watch, man. I'm telling you what. Lily, Marshmallow, Osborne, and Vito are in the bottom 10. And I'm guessing DB Cooper's back there as well. I didn't see him. I'm trying to look down on the standings there. DB Cooper's already come up to 13th. I'm trying to remember where he started. Wow, I was not expecting him up there already. So he's turning on. He sees the pressure coming. I mean, he's, you know, he was in beast mode for 5, 6, 7 races. Took over the points lead from Stay Puffed. But that woke Stay Puffed up, I think. And DB Cooper's just, he's still trying to recover from his Bristol, man. That really shook up the points, and our next race, Talladega, is going to shake up the points big time. That's going to be, it could be a season changer for a lot of cars. We're catching up to Michael Bolton here, but you can see Ray Finkel's right with us. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable here that we're not wasting our tires that much. And we're looking good. 16 laps in, our tires look good. I did shorten the pit window here a little bit. I think we've been pushing 50 laps recently, and I blindly moved the fuel use up a little bit, so it's going to be somewhere in the 40s for sure. I just don't know exactly when. And speaking of Talladega, I think I mentioned earlier in the season somewhere that we were going to be running a newer Talladega for that race, but I don't know if we are going. I don't know if we're going to do that. Just because the Talladega we have is tried and true. No quirks with the AI other than the usual racing deals. And I just don't know what a newer Talladega will have in store for us in terms of just the racing period. Like, we know what to expect out of that Talladega. However, I do want to dial in a lot of new modern tracks before our next silly season. Which, pretty sure I'm gonna set in stone coming in mid-February. Maybe do it like we did this past summer, or this past February, where I started uploads the Monday after the Daytona 500. And then hopefully I'm going to give myself a week or so of lead time, and then just have videos coming every day rather than Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule I've gotten used to, you know. We don't want to be out here too long. I mean, Michael Bolton kind of forced our hand, and now we're pushing our tires now just to get around him, get out of this top line. And we're in trouble now. Kind of side drafting them. Kind of side drafting them there a little bit. I need some good get up and go here. And I will. This is all eventually leading to just throwing it into one of these turns to get around him. I see a lot of these tire marks in the turns now. We're starting to use up the tires. I think in the last 6 laps we used up as much tire as we had in the first 16 laps. I don't know what I just said, but it's just I don't know what kind of math I just put on display there, but we're okay. We're in front of him now. Really had to push the car a little bit extra there to get around him, but we're fine. Steve Jobs moved up to 15th. DB Cooper in the top 10 now. And hell, I think we're still 20 points behind DB Cooper. So even if we win and DB Cooper, you know, finishes top 10 here, we still don't catch up to him. Jack Burton and Andy Warhol are out here in front. They really enjoyed that side-by-side racing that we had with Michael Bolton. And I was talking earlier this season, trying to think of cars that, you know, we really don't talk about that much. And Michael Bolton's become one of those cars. And of course, we've been zeroing in on the points battle recently and not really paying attention to what some of the turds in the field are doing points-wise, but haven't really been talking much about Michael Bolton, period. But yeah, that next that next season, I do want to run trucks. I've mentioned it a couple times now in videos. I wish I had the courage to download the truck mod right now and get it going and then confirm that. But I've learned in my years of NR2003, always make backups. And the main thing is I don't want to do anything that messes up the game while we're going down the stretch here in this season. Because there have been times where I've made the wrong move in installing something, and then you have to reinstall the entire game. And I have backups of all the pertinent files and everything, but it's just a headache to do all that. Alright, we're yellow on the tires on lap 30. I'm trying to remember if that's good or not. mean, yellow's never good. You'll see I added Heinz Silly season signage here. And I added that Hooters sign and then the Bluth's banana stand sign there at the end. And weirdly enough, since I changed... I had one more paint scheme in the vault to use this season, and it was Tobias Funke running the Bluth stair car, like their airplane stair car. I made a paint scheme for that. Realized I hadn't used it yet this season, just because I really liked that Bluth's blue and yellow paint scheme for Tobias Funke, but that is the final paint scheme we have in the folder, and he'll be running that the rest of the season. I will most likely showcase that at some point during this race. But yeah, it's just going to be a big overhaul before that next silly season. Now that I know this is the direction I want to go with all these fictional drivers and everything, I'm going to really start moving into the next phase of track editing. Maybe track creation? I don't know. Again, if you have any suggestions on any ideas on fictional drivers and a possible correlating paint scheme, leave a comment. Trying to think of some ones I've come up with now. Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street. He'll be in the waste management car or truck, depending on what we do. And honestly, that will be probably one of the first ones I make, because that fits perfectly. So you get the idea on what we want the sponsor or the paint scheme to, you know, go hand in hand with the driver, not just not just randomness, you know. All right, we're definitely feeling the tire wear now. Those guys are getting bigger and bigger in our rearview mirror these past few laps. It may be because I was just talking about nonsense and not really concentrating, so now we're trying to get back into it. I mean, did those laps on the outside of Michael Bolton for 5 or 6 laps, did that hurt us a lot? I think so. I mean, I think you're dancing on a razor blade here with the tire wear and how I've set it up, that if you don't follow the script exactly, you may get in trouble. I think that's what we're experiencing here. But yeah, I'd love to know what the pit window actually was here, because as I said, I blindly changed it at the last minute. Because I knew running up front here without being in traffic and the tire wear not being as big an issue in the field as it is when you're out by yourself, I knew that was going to be an issue, and I've always wanted to shorten the pit window here a little bit anyway from 50 laps. I think it's one of our longer pit windows race time wise. And that's just part of the old guard. This was the first track I really dialed in the AI on with the fuel use, modified fuel use thing we do. Because it was the one track that was a huge pain in the ass to get the cars running the same speed throughout a tire run. And then I just decided, hey, let's just make them run through their fuel quicker. And then we had an excellent Rockingham race using that system. And I was like, well, this is it. This is the way going forward. We'll start applying this to every track. And without a doubt, this is the best way to race on the game. Without a doubt. I mean, unless you're going to run... Unless you want to win every race and have better tire wear than the AI, or just go through the frustration of never being able to keep up with the AI's tire wear through, say, 67, 68 laps at Atlanta or something. It's just a headache. And even if you do ×2 wear, you still haven't solved the issue toward the end of the run. So the modified fuel window is 100% the way to go. Unless you really invest a bunch of practice time and testing on your setups and stuff, which you might be into, and you might have time to do that. I don't have time. All right, we've survived this run for the most part. I think we got a couple more laps here. They've usually been pitting on lap 50. Mona Lisa Vito's still in the bottom 10 while everyone else has made moves. That doesn't bode well for her, man. Stay popped up to 25th. Super Dave Osborne 27th. But we'll see what happens during these pit stops. Which should be coming up soon. I mean, we don't want to take it. Oh, there's somebody on pit road. We're going in this time. We're going in this time, especially because they can get on our ass in 3 and 4 with our older tires. So we just want to be careful here, and I think Neil Armstrong's going in anyway.
Car outside. Clear outside. Keep it under 45. Keep it under 3,500 in second.
Okay, let's not forget we are near the end of pit road here. We started near the front. I didn't test to see where our stall is, so we just got to eyeball it here. I think I got it.
The leader's pitting now. We'll give you one.
That's a good slide right there. Frantically writing some things down. Okay, we're back in the seat. Drop us, let's go.
Limit 45. Keep it under 3,500 in second. Okay, you're clear of pit lane.
There's the leader right here, Jack Burton.
Okay, merge when you can.
I'm guessing Andy Warhol didn't pit till the next time by.
Outside.
There's Wayne Campbell in the Mirthmobile. I'm trying to remember where he was before pit stops, but I'm not worried about that right now. What I am worried about is not being a lap down due to some caution during pit stops or something. That's my main fear. There's Ray Finkel. We were racing with him, and here comes Andy Warhol back onto the track to sneak in right behind Jack Burton. So things really have not changed up here at all. Don't you love that? It's always
Back and forth now. Good job.
I don't know why that it excites me so much when the AI actually behaves and we get a good round of stops. Maybe gain some spots here or there due to some weird stuff, but for the most part, everything falls in line to how it was before the stops. It's just awesome. We'll let the field cycle through here, their pit stops, and see where everyone ended up. Let's not waste our tires in the early going of this run. You know why? Because it's practice for the third run. Because we did say they do 49 laps, 49, that gets us to 98, which means that last run will be 40 laps. We'll need 40 laps of tires, and you saw there about 40 laps into that first tire run, we were struggling a little bit, so we gotta just be patient now. Going to commercial break here with 85 laps to go. We're running P3 up here. DB Cooper snuck up to P7. We have Homer Simpson P16, Randy Marsh P22, Stay Puft P24, Mona Lisa P25, Super Dave P29, Steve Jobs P30, AT&T Lily P35.
What?
Okay, we're gonna be busy for a minute. After I'm on, take care of the defense. I'll get this stuff prepared.
Wally, say something. I'm speechless.
I'm just trying to hold on to my breath. That is really something.
All right, skipped a bunch there. We're down to 67 laps to go. DB Cooper's dropped to 9th. Homer Simpson is now P16. And we got a bunch of the big name drivers in the 21 to 30 area. Randy Marsh, Marshmallow, Vito, Jobs, and Osborne are all running somewhere in the 21 to 30 range. And then poor AT&T Lily running P38. And we're actually, Andy Warhol has passed Jack Burton during the commercial break. And we're starting to see the tail end of the field in front of us. It takes a while to catch them though, since they're pretty much running the same speed we are, unless they got banged up somewhere. We're pretty much halfway through this run. We'll be pitting again around lap 98. That's 24 laps from now. Tires are in good shape, still green. We're not going for the win. We'll be going for the win after this next round of pit stops when we come back out on the track. I think we're going to spend our tires for 2 or 3. I mean, you can't spend them for long, but just spend them for 2 or 3 laps. See if we can make a pass, get around them, and then we just have to hang on. And it's just going to be a matter of perfectly managing our tires in that final run. But the good news is it's going to be a shorter run. We won't have to go 49 laps. We'll just have to go 40. So all those factors will come into play. But all this will be meaningless if a caution comes out. Yeah, we're planning all this. We're having fun. And then a caution's going to come out when we're on pit road and possibly end our season. So let's hope that doesn't happen. At the halfway mark, Mr. Rogers, Tobias Funke, and the Spice Girls got bonus points. Yeah, we're just winding her down here. I mean, this is sometimes winning the points championship isn't the most glamorous stuff. We have all 40 drivers still in this race. Nobody's in the garage area. Starting to feel the tires a little bit. Yep. Turn yellow. We got 18 more laps on these puppies. We may start losing Warhol and Burton here slowly. So let's just be a little bit smarter and maybe not. Because this whole deal is setting up for being near them after this round of stops. And being able to make a charge and try to get past them. So I'm really summoning up all my years of experience here. And we'll see how it goes. Neil Armstrong is P4 behind us. D. Cooper's P9. He's the only other, you know, points championship contender in the top 10. But we'll see what happens after this round of stops. I mean, he can... Then with Dinkley could bang him on pit road or something. Effectively end his season. So I don't know. Yeah, I threw up that graphic at Martinsville about Lily. I mean, Lily, she was hot shit. She was a hot commodity there for a while, and then she just stopped popping up in the top 10, and she's dropped in the points. She's still hanging out near the top 10 in points, but I mean, she's probably not a major player. All right, we got about 10 laps to go before pit stops. And we're doing everything we said we wanted to do. We've managed our tires. We're staying with them here. It's just a matter of these final 10 laps of this run being able to stay with them and put ourselves within striking distance after pit stops. And then it'll just be a furious 40-lap battle to the end. Yeah, it's really disappointing about Jack Burton in our season. I think he's been bottom 10 in the points for the longest time. And I mean, he's one of the cars I was most pumped about. I just thought it was funny, and just didn't happen. And then even Andy Warhol's paint scheme I really like, the color of it and the number and everything. And he's been sucking the big one. Actually, no, he was sucking the big one early on in the season, but then he started making moves recently. And he's popped up in the top 15 once or twice, as I recall. But if you've seen the point standings, if you've looked at the point standings, you can see. I mean, they're separated by 1 and 2 points each position. Once you really get into the meat and potatoes of it. And yes, a lot of the season comes down to luck. But, I mean, some cars have just really put their luck together really well. I don't know how else to put it. You have the entire field. The entire field has been chasing the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man for a while. Alright, we got 5 laps till pit stops. They may be pitting a little bit early. Let's keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for some weird moves. But I'm telling you what, we've followed the script here exactly. We just gotta hang with them these last few laps of this run. P4 is nowhere to be found in the rear view. If we get any inclination that they're pitting, we'll pit. We're not going to get slowed up by them. We're just going to pit with them. And I'm trying to remember. Jack Burton pitted first last time. Remember, Andy Warhol was coming out onto the track later. So we'll probably see Jack Burton pit first here, which will be good because we'll see him back off of Andy Warhol here, so we'll know he's pitting. Okay, there's a pitter. Let's avail all of our senses right now and see when Jack Burton is pitting. I don't have it yet. More pitters. We're not under a major threat of losing positions if we stay out on older tires versus fresher tires, because there's nobody really within striking distance of doing that. Now, is Jack Burton making a play for the lead, or is he pitting? He's pitting. So we're going in with old Jack Burton.
Keep it under 45. Keep it under 3,500 in seconds.
All right, this is a traffic jam and a half. This is the LA freeway. Let's not get hit by Turd McTurdison coming out of their pit stall. That they have no reason. You know, they're not in the points race. Tell you what, this is a good entry. Real good trip down pit road here, babe.
Pitting now.
We gotta get out. I'm trying to keep an eye. I can't see Jack Burton. He's behind the Blackhawks Wayne Campbell pit stall. Nobody coming? We're good. Let's go.
Limit 45. Keep it under 3,500 in seconds. Okay, you're clear of pit lane.
Great pit stop, fellas. But I mean, Jack Burton forced our hand. If we get black flagged for merging too early, I'm dropping that. Because we either did that or we get spun out. Here we go. Oh, Tim Taylor's right on us. He really took advantage of his fresh tires. So I think he was 3 or 4 seconds behind us. Here comes Andy Warhol. This is going to be... Damn it. Can't do it. I got Tim Taylor on me. Man. And we used up tires early on in the run.
All right, we're back in fifth. Good job. Car inside. Keep high.
What's the saying from Mike Tyson or something? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Basically what happened, except Tim Taylor just rammed us in our behind. But now we're on top of things. Let's make this pass and at least lead a lap, huh? At least get a bonus point for leading a lap. Now we have to be super, super, super careful with our tires.
Here comes the leader.
You can see the tires we just spent there in 3 and 4, saving it from Tim Taylor.
You're in first.
And oh god, I don't know how this is going to turn out. We do have the back of the field. We may catch the back of the field here soon, and that'll give us, I don't know. It'll just add a variable to this. DB Cooper P10. Mona Lisa Vito's jumped up to P14. You can see the standings down there. Martian Marshmallow still in the mid-20s. So's Homer Simpson, Steve Jobs. Oh, I almost went right into the wall looking at the standings. And then Super Dave Osborne and Lily back there. That might hurt Super Dave. I don't know where he started here. But he was definitely... He definitely had people talking there for a while, making some moves. Now, I don't know if this is going to set up for an ending like we had at our 92, the second Rockingham race in our 1992 season, which was just a battle with Ricky Rudd. Ricky Rudd was tracking us down the final 20 laps of that race, and we were able to barely hold him off. Like, we had maybe 2 more laps of tires before he would just punt us out of the way. Now you can see, do you see how we're moving away from those guys behind us and catching these guys pretty quickly? I think that means we're hustling the car a little bit too hard here. And we got to kind of temper it. We got to temper ourselves here. But I'll get the job done. I'm going to skip a few laps here. There's nothing else going on. I'm going to concentrate.
Right after the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind. So we'll hear about that coming up.
Okay, as we head to the break, a look at the 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I took her easy on the tires for a while. I kind of fell back to these guys just because we're playing the long game of having tires. So it's not like they caught up to us. We kind of let them catch up to us. And now we're just kind of yo-yoing with them. As these laps wind down, we have 17 to go. We're still not yellow on the tires, which is excellent. Which was the whole point of this. We have some lap traffic coming up that may play a part in this, but I don't think it will. It seems like they're right there, but we may not even catch them in time. Andy Warhol's jumped into second, Jack Burton third, Neil Armstrong fourth, Wayne Campbell fifth, Tim Taylor sixth. Not sure how the standings looked going to break there. I usually try to record that in post when I can actually give you an idea on what's happening rather than trying to read it when I'm in the middle of a turn, you know. Oh man, Stay Puft has dropped back to P31. Seems like Andy Warhol's pulled away from that next pack, or whoever's battling behind him. So it's going to be John Hammond and Andy Warhol mano a mano for the Great Value 400. We got 13 to go, and I think we have them. I think we have them. I think it's just going to come down to how much tire did we spend? How much rubber did we spend when Tim Taylor got into us right as soon as we were getting back onto the track into that turn 3 bottleneck when Andy Warhol was trying to merge. He really almost sent us sideways there. I think now I gotta start trying to push the... Okay, we're yellow now, but with 10 to go. And I'm pretty comfortable with pushing the car a little bit here now. We've done our job. Oh shit. We've done our job, we've slow played it, we've saved our tires, and we're enjoying the fruits of our labor now. We can just push it a little bit extra. Even just 2 laps of pushing it extra, we can pull away from Andy Warhol, but that's because the tire wear is a fickle beast here. If this was a full a full run, pit window run, I wouldn't be able to do this because we wouldn't have tires for the full thing. Wouldn't that be something if our engine blew right now? My engine did blow once in a practice race here. I think in our 2005 season, actually. Tell you what, I don't know if I started celebrating too soon. I started getting crazy, but I'm definitely feeling the tire wear now. And we'll see what Andy Warhol did that lap. Gained 0.03. I don't think he has enough time unless we hit the wall or screw up. Or have trouble passing Andy Van Slyke here. The lapped car here. Well, he's not lapped yet, but you know. Yeah, I remember, or I've heard people call it lap traffic, L-A-P, but it's lapped. It's traffic that is lapped. It's lapped traffic. I've heard people, if it is a lap traffic, L-A-P, I just want to find the reasoning behind the spelling of that and why it's called that and not lapped. But it's lapped traffic. I think it's just because people heard, people hear lap traffic real quick and they're just like, oh, that's lap traffic. Andy Warhol's picking up 0.02 of a second every lap. And he lost 0.03 there. So yeah, safe to say this AI difficulty's dialed in pretty well. Not going to have a nail biter finish like we had at Rockingham in 1992. I'm not worried about a nail biter. I'm worried about the Heinz Packet Championship. And already looking ahead to Talladega, we'll be starting 40th there, and we'll have the first stall on pit road. That's always fun, but we'll see how it goes, man. We had to get these points. We had to get these points here. I think we only led, you know, the final 40 laps of this race. I don't think that's going to be enough to get the bonus point for leading the most. But yeah, I'm just worried about getting a top. Oh, you can see 0.68. Like, he's just hanging with us. We just had an insurmountable lead for him. Hell yeah.
See you in victory lane.
I'm gonna do something I didn't do at Pocono. Some burnouts.
The race is over. Come on in.
Didn't do burnouts at Pocono. We'll do them here until our tire explodes.
The race is over. Come on in.
We got some stragglers still racing. Or maybe they just, maybe it was so condensed trying to get on pit road they couldn't pit. I'm guessing that's what happened.
The race is over. Come on in.
Shut your mouth, guy. That'll do her. All right, a big win, but I'm already thinking about Talladega. Andy Warhol did lead the most laps here, 56. No cautions. Mr. Rogers, Tobias Fugue, and the Spice Girls got the bonus points for finishing, or for running 10th, 20th, and 30th at the halfway mark. Looking at these, first the top 10, Neil Armstrong. Don't sleep on Neil Armstrong. He's in the top 10 in the points race, and he's gonna jump up here a lot, and you'll see why. DB Cooper, he just refuses to die. Started middle of the pack and ended up making it to P7. And how about Rosie the Riveter, starting 40th, ended up P9. Almost worth skipping the second page of the standings, unfortunately. No big hitters here. Maybe Gus Fring, big jump there. Guy Fieri, a big jump. But, I mean, Rosa Parks, too little, too late, lady. You had your chance after your big top 10 streak, and she doesn't have enough time to do anything here in the race for the Heinz packet. Things start getting interesting on the third page here. Look at Randy Marsh, Homer Simpson, Mona Lisa Vito, Steve Jobs, all finishing, between P21 and P30. But there's still a name we haven't seen yet. Moving to the back page of the standings, we finally find that name, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, finishing P35. Just couldn't make up any ground here. Like, he really needed to follow that Randy Marsh trajectory that we talked about, starting at the back, working it to the middle, and then winning the next race. But I mean, all these drivers that finished ahead of him this race are going to gain points on him, and that, when we look at the points before Talladega, it's going to be tight. Been talking it up. Talladega is going to be, this is going to change the season. The next race is going to change the season. Anything can happen there. Marshmallow Man can just stay near the front, or he can drop all the way back. Everyone else jumps over him. He could be sixth in the points by the end of that race. Who knows? I can't wait for it. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.